Hello, welcome back to another SH Monsterarts review. Today, we're going to be reviewing the SH Monsterarts Mecha King Ghidorah Shinjuku Decisive Battle Special Set. Alrighty, and here is the Ghidorah out of the box. Honestly, I've already had it out of the box for quite some time now, and I've been just kind of messing around with it before, making this review. And I just wanted to show you that the proportions on this are giant. Like, this is a big figure, honestly. And the articulation is pretty good, surprisingly. But my only complaints, well, the only big ones I really have is the fact that the torso itself it's very loose. It doesn't quite like to stay up usually starts falling, but that's more or less an issue that you can fix if you maneuver the tail a little bit more. And just going to these heads alone, very beautiful detail in these. If it'll focus. Come on. Yeah, as you can see, the eyes are painted. Nothing crazy, but they still get the point across, And the beautiful thing is the metal head right here. Right there. See, the difference between this, the Shinjuku battle version, and the original is that the eyes are actually green, which in the original version they were actually a somewhat bluish color, but this is much more movie accurate. Also, that's a little loose, but not too terrible. The mouth is actually very well detailed. There's really not much in the way of problems with the mouth itself. As you can see, there's a little paint on the teeth itself, but that really doesn't cause a lot of trouble there. The sculpting on the head is fantastic. But the mouth is on a ball joint, and this is a little loose, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, that might look a little goofy, but you just kind of shift it back into place and it looks very nice. And on to some other articulation. The legs themselves. That's another thing I kind of have a problem with, is that the right leg on this thing is pretty good right here at this joint, but its leg joint, its actual foot joint, which is also on a ball joint, doesn't seem to work very well. Doesn't really have a lot of movement compared to the other side, which has a much more movement. But that could just be a problem with the shin pad. But that also brings up another thing, is that this leg is also very, very stiff, which is unfortunate. But on the other hand, this one is very loose and does not like to really stand on that leg very well. But nothing too terrible. As long as it stays standing, it does the job, but it's a little disappointing to, have that kind of problem on a figure this pricey. But we move on. So the wings themselves can actually move back and forth, which is kind of a given because it stays on that joint right there. But you can actually kind of push them back a little bit if you really try. so that you kind of have a little bit more of a core to your figure, so it's not just leaning forward a little too much, so it's not too top heavy. But that's always nice. The back of it is just covered in a kind of just silver paint. Nothing too crazy. All of this is just regular plastics and stuff, but it's very well detailed for what it is. It's just, it's nice. It looks very appealing. But, and then you get to the tails, which is kind of a big deal with this thing, because it's a lot of support can come from the tails themselves. And the sad thing is that anything past roughly around this point, it's pretty floppy. Like, it's not too terrible, but then past there, it's just very thick. It does not want to listen. But, I mean, once you get to these thicker parts, I guess it gets a little hard to maneuver, but it still just doesn't work that great. And then on the ends, you actually have to put these pieces on. They come separately with the box. You actually have to shove them in here. They're very hard for me, and it took a lot of pressure to shove them in there. And while I was doing that, this little thing fell off, which wasn't a big deal because I was able to put it back fairly easily just with some super glue, but it was still somewhat of a hassle. But one thing that does help is that all of these bits come separately. So as you see with this little base bit right there, there's actually a tube inside of this piece that pulls apart, so that there's 3 separate pieces that helps you put it on much easier. And it's a little hard to show. It'd be pretty time consuming and it's a little difficult, but that's just a heads up. Now we're on to the accessories. All right. So they are exactly the same as the original, but the only difference being is that it does not have the door rats, which is not entirely a huge problem, but I mean, why? What's the point in getting rid of them, you know? Why re-release something if you're not gonna re-release everything? You just gotta save plastic, I guess. Okay, first we have the extra set of wings, which took up most of the box space, well, with the accessories that is, and it's just the damaged secondary wings, which they are very well done. I mean, it's basically the exact same, the only difference being the multiple holes, which, if I'm not mistaken, are actually movie accurate. And one very nice detail is that you can see a nice kind of bronze with a little bit of silver showing just like an interior of it, giving it kind of like a burn effect, which looks great. Which, you know, if you've seen the movie, it's like Godzilla was, you know, blasting the ray at the wings and melted it, so that's a really nice melted effect. And I honestly love them. Like, I think it looks fantastic. And here, I'll show you what they look like with them on. Alrighty, and there it is with the secondary pair of wings, the damaged wings. And they're very easy to pop off. Like, they pop in also very easily. So basically you just be a little bit more careful than I am, because I just clumsy with it. But if you can see, it just kind of plugs in there, and it has a little opening in the bottom, so it just kind of clips in there very easily, and it's very convenient, so that's a lot of fun. Alrighty, and now on to the fun part. This set also comes with the G grip, which basically was used in the finale of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, where it basically just latches onto him and, you know, goes to the ocean. really, really simple, but this is die cast metal, which is very nice. It feels very like sturdy. You can just kind of mess around with it. And then you have these little mini grippers, which are used for like these two are used for the legs, these two for the arms. And it comes with a stand, which is very nice because I do not personally own any other stands. So this was a pretty good purchase because even if I'm not propping up these, I can always have, I will always have this for something else. So then we'll cut to how it looks with everything in. So how you get them in is basically, it's very simple. For the larger grip, you just pop this little tab off from the middle very easily. And then just flip up every one of these little tabs. This one's a little goofier. There you go. All very, very easy to pop open. And then you basically just insert where everything needs to go. And yeah, I'll show that in here in just a sec. All right, and there is everything all set up with the G grip. So each one of the little claws plugs in to the flaps. And then of course the larger one, after removing the chest piece, is just easily plugged in right there on the chest. Honestly, it looks really good. The stand makes it look nice. And from what I've seen is that you could probably put it on a Godzilla figure, like another SH Monsterarts if you really cared enough to. One of these days I'll try and get the 1991 Godzilla so that I can, you know, finish this little set I've got going on here, but I'm gonna try and put an example here in just a sec. All right, and here is the G grip used on another figure. So here we're using the SH Monsterarts Godzilla -1, and it surprisingly works very well, which is a bit surprising, but it makes a beautiful scene. Because if you're one of those people that likes to make dioramas or likes to display your figures with these kind of scenes, it's perfect. It's fantastic. That's why you'd most likely want to get the 1991 Godzilla to, you know, really show scenes from the actual movie itself. But this alone looks fantastic. Unfortunately, this figure is a little broken. I chipped off a bit of the fin, which is a little unfortunate, but that is besides the point. This looks great, and I'm very happy with it. And I think that'll be all. Honestly, it's a great figure for what it is, though it is extraordinarily pricey. It's like most SH Monsterarts figures. It's just one of those things that's, if you're a hardcore Godzilla fan, then I would highly suggest, but only if you are financially stable. So, I suggest you try and find it for cheap. Try and get it as low price as you can. But I'd say pick it up if you can. And now onto some size comparisons. Ghidorah with a Legend of Zelda amiibo. Ghidorah with Godzilla from Godzilla -1. And Ghidorah with a Bandai Spirits Vegeta. Alright, and that'll be all for this review. Thank you all for watching. And let me know what other SH Monsterarts or figures or anything Godzilla related you'd like to see more on the channel. Hope everyone has a wonderful day.